TV. Alex Kamangila akukamba nkhani ya kugwiririra ndipo mmene achulamu a Bushir akuti iwowa ali ndi mlandu ogwiririra. Tamvani.
I just need 30 minutes. Conversation is how ya Italy. Even we can even discuss this moje pakwambili because nkhani yake ndi straightforward. Nkhani yake ndio ni nkhani zake tukamba nkhani za mtu mmozi, Prophet Shepherd Bushir and his shenanigans, his criminality, his criminal world. Nkhani ndi straightforward. Komaso siyofunika kukamba zinthu zambiri kwambiri chifukwa chonazo kuti pali anthu amene angakhale in trouble. There are people that their lives can be at risk if I get into details, because Shepherd Bushir ndi munthu woopsa. Inu ndine tikuziwa izi nonse ndifake anthu sayankhula zake zimene ngakhale mamuziwa, but kuopsa kwake ndi munthu, is a human being, so that's why we can speak about him, and that's why ndikulimbikitsa malawi kuti tizuke tisayambi kuwapanga treat anthu ena kuwayang'ana anthu ena ngati ni milungu. Tikuyenera kuti anthu wina aliyense amene ali pa dziko lapansi, kaya ndi wansembe, kaya ndi mbusa, kaya ndi prophet, ngati ali pa dziko lapansi akuyenera kupanga operate under the powers and within the rule of law. Akuyenera ali mu system yomweyo, you know, he's in the same system like anyone else. Ineyo ngati Kamangila Alexius, if I'm no matter what good I've done, or no matter what good I'm going to do, or I do, or I've done before, ngati nitagwidwe, ngati ningapezeke kuti ndikupanga cholakwika, ndikuphwanya lamulo jelimene kugwira ntchito. So this is where people of God, people of the church, you need to understand. We live on earth, and the earth has got its own rules, do's and don'ts. But even within the spirituality realm, kugwiririra sikovomerezeka, kapena mwina kumpingo kwanu kapena amavumira kugwiririra, kubera anthu, the Bible is against it. So even when you speak about the spiritual realm, don't touch the anointed, don't touch my anointed. Anyone that is committing crimes can be touched in the criminal world, through the criminal justice system, and they have to be held accountable. Holding people of God or pastors or prophets accountable for the crimes they have committed, that's not touching the anointed, because they are not anointed when they are raping a young girl, when they are raping women, when they are stealing from Malawians. That's not an anointing, you know. Kapena mwina mutuze ngati mene ili anointing. Kubera anthu, kugwirirana, kugwirira azimai ngati kuli ili anointing. Now, Shepherd Bushir is not simulendo kugwiririra anthu. Kugwiririra anthu sikoyamba, komanso siku malawi konkuno. Ku South Africa, nkhani zimene zina tawa zikulu zinazona magwirira azimai. And pali makesi amene anatsegulidwa, and mbuyo mbuyomu pali zinthu zina zimene nazazifotokoza za Bushir zokhuza milandu ya ku South Africa. At this time, I had not come across evidence to implicate him pa kugwiririra kwa kumalawi, kuti kugwirira kupetuka pano siza ku South Africa, so koma ndingofuna kupereka background kuti munthu simulendo pa nkhani yoti anagwiririra sikoyamba komanso siku malawi konkuno, ngakhale ku South Africa kuli zinkhani za azimayi za anthu amene anagwiriridwa ndi Bushir. Now what is interesting, and this isn't ndikufuna ndinene mosindika kuti tisegulane maso, chimene chili chofunika kupanga pay attention is nkhani zimene asikana kapena anthu akazi aku South Africa amakamba, pattern yake ndi yomweyo. There's a certain pattern that Bushir follows, and there are certain similarities pa zinthu zimene zimachitika kuti Bushir apeze kuti azimayi aja wagwirira olo anthu aja wagwirira. And largely, one of the commonest thing is azimayi amagwirira anthu amu mpingo mwake. You know, that's one of the common things. Anthu amu church momo amagwiriridwa. You know, and now, before going deep, this pattern is very important to watch, you know. And the key thing is, I'm praying and I'm calling you out. I mean, usage. I'm not saying don't stop going there. It's you and your God. Continue, go, but don't be raped. We don't want anyone to be raped anymore. And was agreed with usage in the name of God, in the name of worship, in the name of meeting the pastor private, and was agreed with so. So you are warned, and you're being Bushir, Shepherd Bushir is a predator. Shepherd Bushir is a predator. Wina fusoda yoendo era pa masko mulungu muntu asakhale ndi mane. I don't know. Ngamfuse mulungu yonga ndiro era. Komanso muntu awena akhali ndalama ndithu. If ngakhale neyo ndimasaka ndalama. Koma ndalama zake sizimasaka ngadimena masakira za criminality. Kapena what I can't do. Isindama meni masakira ini sindisaka monena kuti whatever come rain come sunshine I'll make money. No. I pursue or I seek, I look for money, patiently, and I know getting money and being rich is a process, and it's a process. There's no quick money. There's no miracle money. The way I search for money, I search for money in understanding that there's no miracle money and there's no free lunch. Kulibe muntu amene unganga ma profit lero ungobezeka chindama basi baba wapulika. No. Making money is a process, and it's an art. And all that. So my pattern, I mean, taona ku South Africa, kugwidwa kwazi mine. My pattern, I mean, achitia ku Malawi. Ndi anthu amene ali close, the people that trust. So anthu amene apanga lose, control. Kapena kuti isali ndi mantha, because akumana ndi munthu wa Mulungu, akumana ndi munthu amene they are vulnerable to. This is a man of God. Akapempherera akadani, basi akwagwira kweza kuti basi tu kwagona, and all that. Now. This conversation, yudi umakamba moralo.
GPS signal
lost. My GPS inaandika kamera. Moralo, this is a moral. This is not zingzokambira nokuti no. It's serious trauma. We are discussing something that affects a lot of people. Rape or defilement is critical. It's critical. As someone who watched a bishop is speaking nonsense, you should change your name from being a bishop, because a bishop should be someone with some sense, some wisdom. If you are speaking nonsense, then you shouldn't be called a bishop. But anyway, let me not lose focus on the issue of patterns. Good thing. Dugamba zama patterns. I would want to stop this routine. I want to stop. Ndibange tipulumuse ena amene sakuziwa kuti munthu ndi predator. Amene angapeze kuti akagwiridwaso, akagonedwa, mokakamizidwa, mosapereka consent. So rape ndi kugonedwa kosavomereza kuti munthu sunavomereze. Munthu amamuna kugona munthu wamkazi according to the law. The penal code in Malawi. Because zinthu zikamba mu context ya Malawi. Kugonedwa mokakamizidwa. Now kodi zimene zimachitika modani, pali njira zingapo. Pali njira yobwera munthu use force, using force kuti kukupanga kukutenga mpeni olomfuti, kukuza vula ndi kukugona, one. The second way someone can rape you is kukumana nawe munthu iwo sakufuna and osapereka consent, kuyamba kukwika position ya uncomfortable position, kukugwira malo osakugwira, kumakana ndithu kukana, kumaoneka kuti kukana munthu jani kupitiriza kukupulani kukugona, sana kuonese mpeni, sana kulozese mfuti. Mwina suna yankule, suna nenesi kuti I don't want this, koma your actions and munthu yo suna pereke consent, ndipo umakana munthu wachita even kabula wankati mwako munthu kuchita kumvula mokakamizana, mochita kulanda iwe akukoka pansi ukubwezeresa mwamba, akukoka pansi ukubwezeresa mwamba, akumuseseresa kabula wako wankati ukubwezeresa. The moment that kuti andusumina sana tenge mpeni, kapena sana kumenye mbama, kapena chibakera, koma wakugona, ndipo panali clear indications kuti umakana, that's rape. nthawi zambiri marepu ngati imeneyi anthu maganizidwe amaona kuti imeneyi sirepu. Nkhani ina, njira ina ya rape imakhala munthu wapamwamba amene ali ndi authority taking advantage of someone who is weaker, who is put in a space that is awkward and in an uncomfortable scenario. Chiyerekeze aphunzisi ndi mwana wa skulu. Aphunzisi aja kumuyitana mwana wa skulu kuti tabweresa pepa lako pali china chake choti ndikukonze kapena ndikuphunzise. Mwana uja kufika mu office mwawo aphunzisi aja kukiya ndimugona mwana uja zakiriye kuti sakufuna komanso the other person has taken advantage of their position of authority. So mu church tisaonera kuti pastor ndi ndani ndi kapena prophet ndi wa praise team, member of praise team. How does a pastor how does a member of praise team look at the pastor? Amamuona ndi authority, amamunjenjemena mipingo timamunjenjemena mipingo imene. So that person trying on you and touching you, in an awkward way in a private space, in their own private space, office now. Sometimes a woman might be confused with and the people is the issue is pay attention, and as Bambo we are prone of this. We are dismissive, we are dismissive situations like this. But the issue is this person is a person of authority, and this women or this woman or this girl is in a state of shock. How he sees Abusa, how he sees the pastor, how he sees the prophet is a godly man, and then he's shocked before even they start processing and finish the processing. I'm gonna, and the moment that happens, nobody as my mpingo mamera maziwa kale ndio ali naye mina so kumupasa ka treatment kina ka ule mu kukanga religion ngati mai busa njonjo ka one day there's a lot of violence and abuse in the church kuma papa tukamba za Prophet Shepherd Bushir. Now ndikoza kugamba nkhani zambiri mbiri koma pali situation njira ziwiri zimene ntafuna nkhani ziwiri zimene ntakambe zokhuza Bushir ndikugwiririra. Nkhani yoyamba yokhuza mwana wa ukasungu. Bushir knows about this girl, and this girl was in Lilongwe recently, and she was in Lilongwe because I brought her in Lilongwe, only to be some people trying to betray and to buy out whatever was trying to happen when we were trying to find a solution and to save this child from the trauma and to find justice for this child, Ukasungu. I will not mention obviously the kid name, and because you have to protect the name of the child that was raped, and that is also living in fear. Now, the other scenario, the scenario ya imene ya jeno imenta igambe ya hypnosis kudi azmai angapo amina agambapo atikana women, a couple of women that have said when they met Bushir, they went to a diesel, like they lose themselves, like akulota, and they are not themselves, they have gone into sleep, into a deep sleep, like happiness, like and then the deed happens, and then they get back to themselves, and then like, what has happened? What happened? I know there are also a couple of those. Dude has got a lot of women around him. Today Sindugamba Zama women are, so this is what was also shocking. Why did this person rape? Because my girlfriend's migoro. So you wonder, is easy into is easy, it's not fika kumidima. This is not libido, this is not an erection, and this sexual drive. This is not a sexual drive. This is a ritual. Literally, this is a ritual. This is not a sexual drive. Because you are a man, I am a man. Men are on this page. you don't have 30 girlfriends, do you? Do you have 50 girlfriends? No. No, why? You know, so there's something, there's a beast that is doing this, you know. There's something that is going on. There's a reason why this is, there's a benefit to this. This is a job, you know. Kwa gonesa tulo antu kapena kukhala mu state ya tulo ndikupeza kuti agonedwa ndi nkhani zingapo ndipo ndi anthu angapo. And as I said, this live in just short, it's just within 30 minutes we have to be done. And I wouldn't want to base on group kind of litigation or group kind of liberation. Komano, I think I'll bank much on issue ya kusalima ya kukasungu. Now, kukasungu Shepherd Bushir and mpingo. So years back, so I'll be discussing not to put someone in danger. Years back, adabwera kumawi pompa. Years back yake ma 2021 kumapitawo. Mpingo jonamba kupepa. Sinanga papa abwera, papa pafupi. And you know, we see G. Many Shepherd Bushir alingati papa, right? Alingati papa. Sinanga mpingo ndi founder, kumaso ndi nkatea, ndi mwini nzinda. You know, so you expect there's a lot of respect to this guy. And hama mulemekeza, and hama mpasa ule muambili ndipo ama mtenga ngatika mulungu. And that's why people would say God of Papa, you know, God of Shepherd Bushir, you know, but they will not say God of Mary, God of John, because in any man now it's okay when now it's God of Shepherd Bushir, because I believe with the God of Shepherd Bushir, the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob. That's what I believe. You know, that's why when I said I think that guy anasankidwa nditu kuma anapotoza chisankidwa chake chija anachikwisa ntchito kupotoza anthu for the benefit himself. So I believe that. But the moment people end at the God of Bushir and not talk about the God of me, the God of Ruiz, the God of all of us, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then that's when people are lost. You know, because it's now idolatry. It becomes idolatrism. It becomes kupembeza mafano. Muntu ujabusa uja, prophet uja, ama saduka fano. No. You know, you then just end your thoughts and your energies and your face on the pastor, on the prophet, on the man of God. You know, you just focus on the man of God, but you should go beyond the man of God to then reach to God by your personal commitment and personal encounter. Muntu jango kanga the bridge, you know, is not the destiny. That's not the arrival. When you meet the man of God, it should just be a bridge. In the same way, when you meet a priest, they're just a bridge. When you meet a prophet, a bishop, or even Pope Leo, he's just a bridge. What we are searching for is Christ, God Himself, and we need to have a personal encounter, not a group or not a vicarious encounter with God. You can't have a vicarious encounter with God because you'll be misled. Muntu ujaka akalepea, unfortunately muntu zikamuvura basi zimakhaso nawe zizakuvura. You have nowhere else to go because you need a direct contact, direct communication with God. So my point is, nkhani ya ukasungu prophet Africa apapa akazika ku Malawi. What started happening was that now you have mipingo ijano kuzuka maso panaya nyamata ambiri amene ankatamanga kuti papa abwera chuma chija chabwerano ku Malawi, you know, chioneke komanso tije nawo. Anthu oti sali panchiro Malawi cha ndambiri, anthu amene akuvutika ndambiri, then ma opportunities amakhala ochepa. So Bushir coming to Malawi, tima church inatamanga nditu. So kukasungu kuna this girl who was anali wa praise and worship, you know, anali wa praise team, you know, anali udi, you know, and you know, tiana donena kuti tili innocent, you know, mwana uli innocent, and in the end anampanga cox mwana unja mpaka namuita nisa ku Blantyre, and I know who brought the child from there. Kwa mutenga kuti akupitisa galimoto mwana kuti tukakumana ndi a prophet mwana olimbikira mu mpingo iyeyo to her was this is like, you know, the best day of my life. This is happening. I'm meeting Prophet Shepherd Bushir. Guys, and family do you know what the people pay it? People pay in the arm of Bushir. So mwana wa mumudzi ngani zeni mwana wa kasungu akutengedwa akakumana ndi Shepherd Bushir. Mwana unena kuti sana lotepo mwe kudanga kumana ndi Shepherd Bushir. So the baby, I'll call her a baby because she was a baby at this time, you know. And she goes and then she, you know, she's ushered, basically thrown into the pond of this crocodile. And she gets into the room and she kneels and tries to pray. And the pastor says, no, stand up, don't worry. And the pastor is taking off, the prophet is taking off his shirt. You know, one double game with Zukukabani. You know, Basita prophet, Gamba Kuvula Maya. So this is our prophet. This one also would is this one is it? Am I dreaming or not? Before they know it, Manauja, Basi, Ampani, Manauja, and I can't describe in detail. Otherwise, I'll be committing a crime. You know, of you know, being explicit. Mwana basically not believe. Basi kutana naye Manauja. Basi akuzamutengaso anthu mweaja, you know, bida naye kukamubwezeresa kumena panga andi kuona kuti mwana yakuoneka kuti sizinamsangalase anampasa ndalama ndithu 1.3, was it 1.3 million, 1.2 million, and that's in 2020. You know, that's 3 years ago, roughly 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, and that's a lot of money then. And to a child wakumuzi kuma mwana kuoneka kuti ndithu wagwirilidwa ndithu, you know, but yana ina udata wagwirilidwa kumosa ziwa kuti agwirilidwa, right? There are also those kids, you know. She was about 16 years old, 15 turning 16 that year. So kugwirilidwa kumosa ziwa kuti wagwirilidwa kulipo kuma uyuya maziwa kuti wagwirilidwa, you know, analidi pure in terms of her intentions, you know. Amapita ndithu kuti kakomana ndi man of God, you know, ukala ndira madaliso, you know, kukapemphera kukasintha moyo wake. You know, people believe you meet prophet akoza njira zako ngati anthu amagula madzi holy water, you know, ndikukumana ndi munthu wake amene opanga maziwo. You need to open your mind to think about these things in this way. People with so much trust, people have trusted them with so much, with their lives essentially. So kuona mwana yali ngakana mpasa ndama nampangaso promise kuti Kamangila nyumba, or build a house for you. And as you know, mwina so mwana ya mwana odi azitanidwa kublanta, amini kulilongo azibwera and all that. Basi kungo mwiwa ni mwana ochokera banja losauka. That has stuck with her. But at the same time, as it is with Shepherd Bushir, he makes promises. He's very good with promises, but he doesn't fulfill and he doesn't satisfy. So I don't want to say how this case ended up with me and how I ended up coming up across this issue, whether it is pure trauma or the failure of meeting the demands that, or not the demand, the promises that this guy made. I think right now is we thank God he didn't meet the promises, because maybe if he had made the promise, this issue would not have ever come to my desk, to my, you know. And issue in the investigate, I've investigated it, you know. I've gone to this house, to this girl's house through someone, and they have done all sorts of things, and that someone was also being investigated. Mena kupanga zake yeso kupanga investigate. Mena kupita akuyende akusadi daso ni muntu wina ifanye na zuri na kunena odi. The people we're using, there are people that are close to Shepherd Bushir, and the people that are close to Shepherd Bushir, you can never trust them. They are double sword, because they betray Shepherd. I'm a banga betray Shepherd. So if people are betraying Shepherd, they can also betray me. They can also betray anyone. They can betray the system. They can betray justice. So we have captured enough footprint around this person who is helping and all that. And why am I bringing this issue up? I'm calling out Malawi Human Rights Commission to do an inquiry into the conduct of Shepherd Bushir around young girls and women. In fact, Bushir are in the house, and we have all the data and the evidence on this. Nyumba imenamaka amakapanga zachisawawa zachisembwere. Okay, so ani manyumba angapo amene kuli zibwezi chanjenje tinachulaso manyumba ina. Ani manyumba ambiri amene amapanga rent for this girl. And then andi nyumba no so no Bethel, you know, a brothel. Nyumba hii ndio nena kuti basi ndwachisawawa. Kwa mukupangira ngati mapati ngatachi ma PD that. Zimachitika kwa Malawi zimene zijazo zokuti basi anthu chisawawa basi kumene kujapo anthu chinambala mapati. Achinambala unena kuti basi anthu yambakata. Aliyese yambakata zokuti so akamavala panti ayi kungokhala basi mbwiri anthu kumapanga zawo, you know, anthu amapanga machan sam kama ma4 sam kama 3 sam. Tukamba za Prophet Shepherd Bushir. And this place is basically a crime scene, and there's so much documentation, there's so much stories that women can tell us about this. Majitika nditu massage Kamangila azimaya atavula nditu you know kunena kuti one thing that I learned is kunena kuti msogoi asana bange session mapemphero asana oye Sunday chakalo udakala like amapezeka kuti achite ndithu apeze mai achite naye akamaliza awira sokupita sola akachite ndithu. So it's a ritual. There's no other explanation. It's a ritual. So my point is, I'm talking about a woman in Kasungu and the 2-3 women that have come out. Kumano, there will be more women if Malawi Human Rights Commission was to come up, you know, and do an inquiry. If the Women Lawyers Association would come out and investigate Bushir openly and honestly. If the women lawyer, where is UN women? I want UN women to look into the conduct of Shepherd Bushir and his conduct around women, and a priority case, a study case, or the front line should be the girl in Kasungu. And I've got the evidence to share with them, but also the people that they can call, because I know exactly if these people turn around, the people that bring the women to Shepherd Bushir, then they will just be the ones to be caught, you know, and then they're the ones that will be answerable. Because this is a crime. So crime can be different players, and it's an ongoing concern. The stages of a crime. So you also got to kupitiliza kukhala cooperating witnesses and helping in the conviction of Shepherd Bushir, or in the trial process, Shepherd Bushir. Then they become the criminals themselves. Obviously, actually they are criminals because of that engagement. So I know Hannah Jabez is part of the recruiting team who brings other girls, but I do not know whether, and this is, I want to be accountable on this, whether Hannah Jabez has brought underage girls, but I know Udama Bresa Tsigana to Bushir and do all sorts of things. And I know one other girl, one other woman who I will not mention for purposes of investigation, but she knows what's happening. I know she knows what's going on, and we are following her movements and whatever is happening as I speak. And so things will be happening. UN Women, Women Lawyers Association, Malawi Human Rights Commission, I invoke you to rise up to the occasion, to stand up for this monster, for this predator. Shepherd Bushir, Prophet Shepherd Bushir is a predator. There's no two ways about it. And so the final aspect of this conversation, of this Shepherd Bushir crime live, is an issue of tax evasion. So I'll just discuss one aspect of his crime evasion. You see, Anhambiri, I'm a Grisa Chito Bushiri, Munjeremina Grisa Chito Bushiri, including Andare and the other criminals. But Bushiri, I'm a banga zake za person. Now, it's many banga zake za person. He cleans money, but also he evades tax. You know, so Goshen City, you know, my one Goshen City ngana kubesa chitu. But image judgment syndicate, chota angodi, cho bela misonho, kumaso cho tsugira ndalama. So I'll give you one example. And this example, Bushir atunza kuyanka kanantwa ku ECG akunza kuyanka. When Shepherd Bushir came to Malawi, and this is documented, and you can verify this. Ana iuza mpingo in 2020, around 2021. Ana iuza mpingo kunena kuti ndabwera now. Timange mpingo. We need to build a big church for God and let's move and all that. So there were a lot of excitement in the church. There were donations, my partners from across the globe, you know, and the Anzage, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and they base Bushir. People donated, people made a lot of money. And in Jana Gula Katundu, about 4 or 5 tracks came, you know, my roofing panels came, you know, and anafika nazo kuchechi kuja mpingo kupeze kuti and ndikuzona ndipo nice celebration, we are building this church, you know. Do you remember when even conversation imene ina midwa bakale mpaka palisoka video kena kake wonena kuti build a church jandrama zao. But you know the bad news is in dramas in Tumbamwa. I know you saw that video. So the idea of building a house, anagula nditu katunda mene ndipo katunda mene atabwera audifanya security anani kuti akasungidwe ku warehouse ya kunjewa NJEWA pakati po R kwa njewa kulilongwe ku warehouse. Dzina lile limandivuta kupanga pronounce njewa kwa njewa huko. Zimene sikunachitika nkhaza za Mr. Luke Susu. Remember the story ya Susu? Tinabida achangu kapanga mademo Susu, yeah. So you know, zinabe zoti zimagalimoto zija kazisungomere kuja zimatraki zija ndakatundu. You should ask Bushiri today where that property is. Zinto zija zinatengedwa zinapita ku Goshen City, anakamangila Goshen City. It's not, you know, zinzoti zinatipangidwa donating kana kumanga mpingo. This is something that you should ask people how UCG. Sinangakamangila mango kamba zopeka mwafuse. So there is a lot of money laundering koma mostly zinto zimene zikuenda kumangidwa clearly investigated by Malawi Revenue Authority is a tax evasion aspect. So I'm demanding my tax returns. My tax returns okuza Goshen City and the operations, what they've been doing to Goshen City, Shepherd Bushir. So I'm bringing this issue publicly because kwemae kuli Felix Tamblas, and you know Felix Tamblas is a criminal. You know, he's implicated in the
GPS signal lost.
Okay, good. Felix Tamblas is involved in the money laundering William Bilderberg, the South African, that brought $20 million and the account kwake kunabwera 2.7 billion kwa Felix Tamblas. In Nkani now is documented, you know, it was in court. In Nkani Mineso Ken Manda ana yaruga nayo kwambili. You know how he behaved himself around that case, blah blah blah. He was involved anyway. You know the cartel. Imabeze is connected to a lot of things. Now the point is, ndinalemba pompano ninalemba kalata kupita ku Malawi Revenue Authority on demanding MRA in partnership with Malawi Malawi's the Financial Intelligence Authority, ACB, Komanso Fiscal Policy, who are trying to investigate Elo launch, Komanso Kit and Company, especially their Kit and Company. I was focusing on their business account. There's a lot of crime that is happening using that account, and there should be a record. Even just take the record of the last 5 years of that account, the money that has been going in there. Through Kita, that account. They keep some of the money, not all the money. Kita and Company. Zimabwera ndama zija ngati kuti zikubwera za ma client. You know, client account ndi simakhandama za for films makala, but ndama zija zimakhala kuti za majaji. Majaji angapo nditu. In Amadise, they keep their money through, you know. But Kita is not bright, it's not sharp. So he's not clever about it, but he's a good man in that world. So he's trusted in that way. And obviously he needs the judges, to still get cases done and all that. So madiro ambiri amene mapanga achikopa ndifaka mapanga ndi wapona kila. You see zija fertilizer zija madiro amene acha. Palibe pozaloba amene pacha. Ni madiro kauka. You see the finance bank is ndo wapona kila. Ni deal imene jayo, and it's just painful for me the kind of patience and quietness how Malawians are when you have all the evidence of how these people are trying to steal trillions. And I'm money about 1.2 trillion. It's more than that. It's $500. Do you know the value of $500 in Kwacha? It's more than 1 trillion. Muzona 1 trillion yoka. Or even if it was just 500 million, these people are not supposed to gain any money. This bank, it might be drama. Now, let me get back to the issue. Nukambaza tax evasion Shepherd Bushir. So without just writing, I'll write them, but I wanted to bring it out to the public. The letter that I wrote on Wapona Kida has not been stamped in Paranapanova, but I don't care. It's documented. There's evidence of an email going to them, and my journalists are now signal and the journalists haven't followed up and all that, because these journalists are part of the cartel. They are paid. They are not reporting on things that they should report. So that's what I was just trying to say in terms of the next step from this conversation on both the rape cases, the defilement cases concerning the prophet, and also the tax evasion. On the rape aspect, I'm calling out Malawi Human Rights Commission, UN Women, as well as the Women Lawyers Association to do their work, and they'll find more. A lot of women are coming out, and they'll come out. Okay, issue rape and defilement. One of the issues many women are not coming out is because they don't see hope in, especially muntu of power and of authority, and the he gets away with things that Shepherd Bushir. So it's like, what then is the benefit of doing this? As I conclude, lero kumaina DK nyamata nayo gwirira mwana wa zaka 15 amaina kurowa koti uzomba kesi yageja ya defilement ili oni komano sinapange follow up. I was so tied up, I'll follow up and I'll give you posted. Majomeni ngane njona na DK and habo ya jonchi nima umboni opya, and this isn't the practice ndika khalidi ndituko gwirira na kugona ndiana azaka 15 and below. Now mwina za Shepherd Bushir ndola, but so no Kamangila unakala eje upanopa obera nifanya jani za Shepherd. So za Shepherd nina June kuli June, by June akwena kawa Mangila pakati pa panajidiga zindu zina zimabanga distract my work. So the problem is Malawi crime is just too much. So you don't know how much work you're going to have if you're fighting corruption. Hello. So I should be accountable to you guys as well, to what I say. I was supposed to have make a lot of work in May on Shepherd Bushir and the Nkania defilement in Nkania tax evasion. And we should have made a lot of progress. So the delay was good. Kupanya and how mpanya malamulo kumalayo mwaka titi mudi kuswa kuti ndeba mene bandiambira pa. So pali zambiri mbiri zimene zinabwera pakati pa zimene napanga focus. So the delay to start this to restart or to energize the demand for accountability over Shepherd Bushir was that. Let me conclude to say kunena kuti as long as truth will set you free is true. As long as they're saying that truth will set you free is true, we'll stand by this and we're going to succeed and we're going to win. It doesn't matter who we are facing. If we are standing on truth, and it doesn't matter good and hard to wana modani, kahadi pekira nkani zodani, kahatu miza jani, kahatu miza mabomba ja, they are nothing. Kahatu miza mizimu, kahatu miza asinganga otani zona. We standing on truth and we shall succeed and the truth will set us free. Let us pray.